MCL, the word in your home.
Good morning and welcome to you in the space of a program on television, Good Morning Abia. And of course, it's coming to you from Umuahia, the Abia State capital. It's a beautiful morning. How are you doing? I'm very sure you had a beautiful night rest for us here in Umuahia. It's been rainy and of course, it's been a very warm night. It's another beautiful morning and I'm sure you're ready to set out for the activities of the day and prepared to win and conquer. Of course, we made the studio this morning.
Well, good morning, Nora. My name is Michael Ofoye, and of course, we're coming to you live here from the studio right here in Umuahia. What we're doing in this program is to bring you up to speed all that is making rounds here in Abia State and taking you to outside the shores of this country. So in the next 2 hours, we'll ask you please do stay with us while we give you all that is making news in the world totally.
Well, before we go straight to our major issue of discuss this morning, I'm very sure we'll have to take a very critical look at the words of marble this morning.
And of course, the words of marble comes up with these. The way to get a good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear. The way to get good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear. Whatever you wish to be in life, you need to work towards it. Dream it, work for it. That's the way to go.
Of course, by the way, to get a good reputation, you have to consistency, like I always say. You consistently work out your own reputation by yourself. It's out of integrity that people could actually identify with you and relate with you. So I think this morning, this word is actually very apt for our viewer out there. To get a good reputation, you have to appear to be who you want to be addressed as. Maybe that is why they say dress the way you want to be addressed.
Well, these days the question is the way actually dressed the way you want to be addressed. It's a question and it's a discussion for another day. But quickly, let's go back to our studio in Abia, where Ezine is already seated to tell us what is making round in the world of news. Ezine, good morning. How are you doing there? And how's Abia this morning?
Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Nora. Good morning, Abians. On the news segment of Good Morning, Abia, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has officially apologized to Nigeria on behalf of his country over what has been described as the senseless attack on Nigerians and other foreigners of African descent in South Africa. A special envoy from South Africa tendered an apology to President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House in Abuja and advocated for stronger bilateral relationship between the two strong African economies. The envoy also conveyed the South African government's determination to protect the lives and property of foreign nationals legitimately working and doing business in South Africa. The apology is coming after a series of backlash and condemnation that followed the xenophobic attacks in the Rainbow Country. The South African president also apologized to Zimbabwe when he attended the funeral of Robert Mugabe over the weekend. President Muhammadu Buhari has responded to profuse apologies from South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa. In the wake of the xenophobic attacks on Nigerians and other foreigners in South Africa, the president pledged that relationship between the two countries will be solidified. A statement by his media advisor Femi Adesina, President Buhari described the attacks on Nigerians and other victims as very unfortunate. Receiving South African Special Envoy Mr. Jeff Radebe on Monday at the presidential villa, President Buhari extended appreciation to Ramaphosa for coming to explain to Nigerians what happened in South Africa recently, leading to killing and displacement of foreigners. Meanwhile, the chairperson of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Abike Dabiri Erewa, says that 319 Nigerians are expelled from South Africa on Tuesday, today, via airpeace. Mrs. Dabiri said this while giving an update on the voluntary evacuation of Nigerians from South Africa. She said that the returnees are being profiled based on their states. She asked that the state governments will take responsibility of their citizens and that the highest number of returnees so far are from Ogun State with 30 returnees. She equally stated that none of the returnees are criminals and that there are ongoing conversations with the Bank of Industry as regards soft loans. On the issue of compensation for victims, the NIDCOM chairperson said that it will be handled by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, adding that Nigerians interested in helping the returnees should do so. The Deputy Speaker, Rep. Ahmed Wase, a Nigeria's House of Representatives, has been sworn in as a new member of the ECOWAS Parliament during the second extraordinary session of the ECOWAS Parliament in Monrovia, Liberia. The Media and Communications Unit of the ECOWAS Parliament made this known in a statement on Monday in Abuja. The newly sworn-in MP replaced the former First Deputy Speaker, Mr. Yusuf Lasson, who lost his seat as Nigeria's House of Representatives. In a unanimous agreement among Nigeria delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament, as well as other members, the ECOWAS Parliament had on this day, September 16, 2019, sworn in Ahmed Idris Wase as the first Deputy Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament. There was jubilation in Isuzu local government area of Enugu State on Monday as Governor Ifeanyi Ubwai inaugurated the 8.8-kilometer reconstructed portion of Ikem-Eha Amufu Nkalago Road, which was abandoned over 36 years. The 8.8-kilometer road, which was reconstructed for the people of the agrarian community of Eha Amufu in Isuzu local government area, is a gateway to the north through Obolafo, connecting Ebonyi State through Nkalago. It also provides access to the Niger Stem factory at Nkalago that used to be the mainstay of the economy and tourist attraction to the eastern Nigeria. The road is also one of the hitherto abandoned critical infrastructure and legacy projects in the rural areas executed by Governor Ugwuanyi's administration in line with its rural development policy. Inaugurating the road, Governor Ugwuanyi stated that the project is part of deliberate efforts to provide critical infrastructure to the rural communities to improve the quality of life and ease evacuation of agricultural produce, improve earnings amongst rural population, and to stimulate local commerce and ultimately reduce poverty while curtailing rural-urban migration. Describing the road as one of the oldest federal roads in the country built before the Nigerian Civil War, Governor Ugwuanyi, who was accompanied by the Speaker of the State Assembly, Edward Ubosi, his colleagues, and the member representing Enugu East/Isiuzo Federal Constituency, Prince Cornelius Nnaji, among others, revealed that the road was last rehabilitated in 1981 by the administration of Senator Jim Nwobodo as governor of Old Anambra State. Earlier in his welcome remark, the chairman of Isiuzo LGA, Dr. Benjamin Edoga, on behalf of the people of the council, thanked Governor Ugwuanyi for remembering Ehamo for community and its environs after over 3 decades of neglect. Schools in Abia State have resumed for the 2019/2020 academic session after the long vacation which lasted for 6 weeks. MCL News visits some schools in the city of Abia to determine the level of turnout of pupils and students. The reports. In Abia commenced with the 2019/2020 session activities. This much was observed by MCL News at some schools in Abia. Public school resumption across the state was shifted from 9 September to Monday, 16 September 2019. Respondents who spoke to MCL News expressed their projections going into the new academic session.
We're expecting that our students should come in their numbers. And we're also expecting that our teachers will come back.
How do you feel starting school again for this academic year?
I feel happy.
So what advice do you have for other students who are not yet here in school?
I will tell them when I come to school.
There is a high tendency for pupils to shun the first few days of resumption owing to slow commencement of learning activities. Parents are advised to ensure their wards resume school quickly, not to lose time.
I will encourage the parents to give the student the necessary support by way of providing books, providing desks, and pay the necessary fees which the government will prescribe so that there won't be any disturbance.
Parents, government, and its agencies have been advised to provide necessary materials for students and teachers to sustain a functional education structure. Workers under the auspices of the Joint Public Sector Negotiating Council are getting set for a possible industrial action as a meeting of the federal government and the unions again ended in a deadlock on Monday. The negotiations on the consequential adjustments, which was earlier adjourned to September 4th to allow the government team brief President Muhammadu Buhari, was again rescheduled for September 16th, but suffered another setback as both parties failed to reach an agreement despite minor adjustments in their separate positions. Report says that at Monday's meeting, which was chaired by the head of service of the Federation, Winifred Oyo-Ita, both governments and the union leaders only made minor adjustments to their earlier positions, with the government moving from its earlier position of 9.5% to 11% for grade levels 7 to 14 and 6.5% from 5.5% for levels 15 to 17. The workers have insisted that the government adjust salaries of workers on grade levels 7 to 14 by 30% and those on levels 15 to 17 by 25%. Chairman of the Labour Team and National Auditor of the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC), Simon Anchaga, said workers stepped down to 29 from 30% for grade levels 7 to 14 and 25 from 25% for levels 15 to 17. Nigerian Meteorological Agency (NIMET) has predicted favorable conditions for thunderstorms and rainfall activities on Tuesday. NIMET's weather outlook on Monday in Abuja predicted cloudy conditions over northern states in the morning hours. It says that the thunderstorms are anticipated over the region during the afternoon and evening period with day and night temperatures of 30 to 32 degrees Celsius and 22 to 24 degrees Celsius. The agency envisaged cloudy morning with chances of thunderstorm over Abuja, Niger, Lokoja, Jos, and Ilorin houses of central states. It forecasts prospects of thunderstorms over the region with day and night temperatures of 29 to 30 degrees Celsius and 19 to 24 degrees Celsius. For southern states, thunderstorms and rains are expected over the inland and moderate rains over the coastal area in the morning hours. Later in the day, there are chances of thunderstorms and rains over the region during the afternoon and evening, with day and night temperatures of 28 to 31 degrees Celsius and 22 to 24 degrees Celsius. And with that news, we're going for a break. More news will come your way from the newspaper review from our Omaha studios after the commercial break. Do stay with us.
Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
There is only one place where good taste, quality and top hygiene blend to provide classic snacks and food. Apple fried chicken. Our yummy meals glide from continental to African, all freshly prepared in a modern, healthy environment. Take a look. At Apple Fried Chicken Center, children are top priority, and so we provide exciting play centers for them, giving parents sweet, relaxing moment alone. Our outdoor catering services for all events remains the rave of the moment. Now, have you tried the Apple Special Cakes and Shawarma? Ooh la la! Walk into any of our outlets in Abia, Calabar, Uyo and Umuahia and give yourself a treat. Or better still, call our hotlines 080-868-77445 or 070-3963-449 or 090-3046-2362 or send us a mail. Apple Fried Chicken, experience the taste.
Do not deface Abia State with posters. Do not defecate on our streets. Do not litter Abia State.
My brothers, I say, what did man go do for this world where people no go talk? If you chop,
Do not urinate in public places.
you no chop, then go talk. What did make we do for this world? I say, make we dey do the things where we carry for heart. Now so world one time. I be not been so.
Keep
You're welcome back, and it's still your one-stop breakfast show on TV. Good morning, Abia. Coming to you from the state capital, Umuahia. And of course, it's time now for us to take a look at the dailies. And this morning we'll begin with the Vanguard newspaper. On the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning, 1,723 contractors received 70 billion naira without mobilizing to site. 1,723 contractors received 70 billion naira without mobilizing to site. That's coming from NDDC. Soludoran, Doyin Salami make new economic advisory council. I don't get enough credit for my work at Degunle Gold. Find the stories on pages 9, 11, and 12. And the major headline this morning says, Ramaphosa apologizes. Special envoy says more than 50 arrested over attacks. Federal government urges governors to integrate returnees. Enugu Assembly seeks palliative for them. Obasanjo writes, Buthelezi at Nigeria orders to report South Africa to AU. South African official accuses Nigeria of overreacting to attacks. Issue of compensation for discussion October 3rd when Buhari Ramaphosa meets. Well, this story you find on page 5. The picture story there is that of South African envoy at Asok Villa, Abuja. That's President Muhammad Buhari with Interior Minister Rauf Aribeshola. You have Special Advisor to South African President Dr. K. Mbatha, Special Envoy Mr. Zet Radebe, Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Renama, Chief of Staff Abba Kyari, Acting High Commissioner of South Africa to Nigeria, Bobby Monroe, as the President received the Special Envoy from President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa as the State House of Abuja yesterday. Militants chart new path for Niger Delta development. Militants chart new path for Niger Delta development. Okowa, I'll hand over to Robo in 2023, says Ibori Ovobare orders. You find that on pages 33 and 35. Herdsmen invasion, bloody clash averted in Enugu community. Herdsmen invasion, bloody clash averted in Enugu community. Strike, patients lament absence of doctors in Abia hospital. Strike, patients lament absence of doctors in Abia hospital. Over 100 local government areas in 33 states affected by flood, and it's coming from Nihasa. And find the stories on pages 15 and 35. On the back page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning, of course, is sporty. I see Barry Watts into Falcons coach resignation. Barry Watts into Falcons coach resignation. Ra tells Enama no vacancy in Agos. Ra tells Enama no vacancy in Agos. Aribo is my best new ego. Aribo is my best new ego. Jamilu Collins says Bundesliga record. Jamilu Collins says Bundesliga record. Osimhen says for first Champions League against Ajax. Real Madrid, Barcelona wants Virgil van Dijk. Marcelo out of PSG class with leg injury. He's back. Messi fit to face Borussia Dortmund in Champions League. He's back. Messi fit to face Borussia Dortmund in Champions League. And of course, next is the Daily Sun newspaper.
Of course, the next paper on the desk this morning is the Daily Sun. But I can tell you it is not sunny here in Omara, the capital city of Abia State. Quickly, at the top corner of the paper comes up with these: severe flooding looms, federal government warns. Kalu's home, others flooded. Agency accuses government of ignoring dangers alerts. That can be found on page 3 of the paper. And of course, the big bold headlines this morning is the attack, evacuation of Nigerians. South Africa begs Nigeria. Ramaphosa, special envoy in Abuja, apologized to Buhari. Obasanjo urges federal government orders to report South Africa to AU. And that can be found on page 6 of the paper. And of course, the picture this morning there at the front page of the paper, it is no other person than the number 1 man of Enugu State, Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi of Enugu State Middle, with the Speaker of the State Assembly, Honorable Edward Ubosi, second left, State Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Honorable Augustine Namani, right, and Chairman Isiuso Local Government Area, Honorable Dr. Benjamin Edeoga, during the inauguration of the 8.8 kilometers Amufu Nkalagu Road yesterday. I hope I got that right. All right, underneath that, close to that, it is Ruga Ilo Community Protest in Lagos Settlements, and that could be found on page 12 of the paper. Attack on Saudi Arabia, Nigeria to rake in 1.3 trillion naira in 3 months as oil prices hits $71 per barrel, and that can be found on page 37. Buhari appoints Salami, Saludo, Rubani orders into Economic Council, and that can be found on page 2 of the paper. Quickly, let's go to the back page of the paper, and of course, it is Levy, June 4. June 4, and of course it is inside, and it says promises, promises, and more promises, and of course that's there for you to have a peruse, and of course it's no other person than the phrase of the number 1 man, talking about Muhammadu Buhari himself. But let's spice up your day this morning by a cartoon animation, and it's coming from Citizen Joe, and it says, I was hated, called Okorawusa because of APC. That is coming from the former Imo State Governor, Okorocha. And he says, just tell them that you're Okoro Boko. Rebels! Okoro Boko. No, you know better how to pronounce that. Well, it's good to start with Citizen Joe. I was called Okorawusa. That is coming from Rochas. I was hated by they should the people of the state
but you know
the governor.
Okorocha is full of surprises. Okorocha is full of he's a character. He's somebody that sometimes people want to actually listen to. Now, but the truth of the matter is that he was actually called those names.
Oh, really?
It can't be taken away. He was called.
He was called Okorawusa.
Because a lot of people felt invested so much in the north, and he relates more with the northern people than he relates with the people in this part. And maybe that's why he had to invest in Imo State while he was governor.
Sure,
because he invested so much.
Sure,
and so it's also surprising to realize that the same APC he was jumping up for, making promises and all of that, he's suddenly trying to take a bow. He actually told IPOB that he may be joining them if he loses APC, and IPOB says, we don't need you, you know where you are.
But what he said was that he's not so clear of what the vision of IPOB is, but once he knows what's the vision and what they are agitating for. It's that's then he could.
If APC says no to him,
well,
he could find a soft line.
IPOB is not a political party. So then it says just tell them that you want. What's it sounds funny. It sounds funny, but it will be glad to know what the meaning of that is anyway. All right, you can be part of the discussion by calling the numbers on your TV screen. Tell us what you think with all the papers that we have read to you. If there's any of the headline that catches your fancy, we'll be very happy to hear that. Now, South Africa. Now, let's start with the attack and evacuation of Nigerians. South Africa begs Nigeria.
Well, for me, it's actually a good development there. Begging Nigeria, a lot of Nigerians have been agitated with what has been happening in South Africa, and they've been asking several questions. Why will South Africa react this way? Once it has to do with Nigeria. And of course, South Africans are saying Nigerians are overreacting to what is happening in South Africa.
I still find it very funny when people say Nigerians are overreacting. How do you mean overreacting when Nigerians are being killed? The businesses in South Africa have been attacked and the rest, and you're saying we're overreacting. Must you push a man to the wall and you expect him not to react?
You also tell him what to fall when you push him.
And so it's a problem, but I think it's a good one that the South African president, Ramaphosa, has sent a special envoy to the president yesterday, and because the picture is out there for you to take a look at. But a lot of Nigerians are saying that's not the solution. And of course, the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, says, look, the federal government needs to report these to AU. That's what everybody is saying, that look, there must be a sanction, because if you do the sanction, you and I, if you go back to history, 2000 there was an attack, 2002 there was an attack, 2008 there was an attack. And so what is happening is because every time there's an attack, we always say, let's go back to the round table and discuss about it. But this morning, the former president is advising the federal government to say, look, don't accept apologies, accept to say, yeah, it's okay, it's fine by us, but we must go to AU, and of course that's where we can find justice. Now, what happens to people whose business have been affected? What's going to happen to compensation?
Well, they will have to tell us at the end of the day, because the envoy just arrived in Nigeria, and the essence is to look for ways of fixing the problem between Nigeria and South Africa. And they didn't just come to Nigeria, they've been to other countries, African countries that were affected by these xenophobic attacks. And with the reports we have on the front page of Vanguard newspaper, they say more than 50 persons have been arrested in South Africa over the attack.
That's not good enough.
They need to, find a way. For us, all we're looking at is a lasting solution. This is the second time in 2016.
And somebody said there was a clause, I saw that on the paper, there was a clause to read that most Nigerians that are evacuating, that live in South Africa, that there's a string attached to it that you will never visit South Africa after 10 years. So what happens if I decide to run for my life and I decide to leave my business to come down here and say, if I have South Africans working for me, which is normal, that once you have a business, the South Africans is going to work for you, and they say, okay, Nora, you're South Africa, I need to run for my life. I'm going to go back to my country. As soon as there is peace, I'll come back. So I will not have the access to come back again after 10 years.
That's why most of them there says they're not coming back. Let them, better they die there than to return. And that's why most Nigerians are asking, what are they coming back to do? Because environments, according to a lot of people, are not conducive enough to accommodate these people, and they're looking for a better environment, where they can actually thrive in their businesses and all of that. At least an environment that has steady power supply, an environment that has good infrastructure like roads.
Oh, sure.
So these are some of the attractions in these countries. And when you see them there, they have somebody was telling us a story about one of his brothers who got wind of the information on time about the attacks, and so he had to close down his shop, and he said he was watching from a distance while they destroyed other people's shops and all of that. That kind of person will not want to come back, because you don't know why he has infected so much. And that's why we tell Nigerians, wherever you are, don't ever forget the road that leads you home.
Well, the truth of the matter is, a lot of people have also said that the South Africans are not good with history, because if they are, I would have noticed that during the apartheid days, Nigeria, as a matter of fact, the president, I beg your pardon, the late Moshood MK Abiola, according to United Nations and World Report, that MK was one of the people that gave all to make sure that South Africa gets out of appetite. But is this the way to pay Nigerians?
You remember the last time I had a guest on this program where we talked about this issue in South Africa, you would recall that this Barrister Mark said something that actually struck me. He said maybe these people are not used to history. Maybe they are not also taught history in their schools. Because South Africa is the last country in Africa to have independence. And this is because they had a lot of issues that other continents had to come together to ensure that South Africa gained independence. And with the help of all these countries coming together to ensure you have what you wanted, why will you fight such countries because you feel aggrieved? Or maybe out of jealousy and envy, you're actually fighting those people to say, leave our country, forgetting that no man is an island. You need each other to survive.
I agree with you completely, but we'll just see how that folds, because the information we have this morning is that even the South African president is going to visit the president come October.
Our president is going to South Africa.
Okay, the other way around. So that would be nice. And of course, I am one of those persons that have advocated to say, let's copy what the French president did, talking about the former French president Hollande. When France was attacked, what he did was to get all the EU presidents, they held themselves and of course marched on the streets of Paris. And it would be glad to see Ramaphosa and Nigerian's president walk on the streets of Joburg, Pretoria, and the rest holding their hands together. That would be a good one. And believe me,
that's not a challenge, because then maybe you see them hold hands together, but also you see how people walk on the streets.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If you can get these two leaders to walk on the street, then believe me, other people would like. I mean, if these two men could hold hands on the street and walk on the street, we're not saying
smiling.
Yeah, we're not saying talking in a room. Walk on the streets of Joburg and cameras and the rest. Believe me, that would do a lot.
It's not enough problem anyway.
All right. Nora, still talking about the deadness on severe flooded looms federal government wants.
Yeah, that's every year. There's always warning from NIMET or other meteorological agencies in Nigeria, warning ahead of time. But the truth of the matter is that we do not take warning seriously in Nigeria.
Why don't we take warning seriously?
I wouldn't know. Maybe our perception or our mindsets about life. I remember, I think last month, the last 2 months, there was severe flooding in the FCT and about 4 persons died. You know, and the question was, were they warned about this? The pending loom.
Apart from the warning, let's go a little from the Western world. How would
the measures we put in place?
Yeah. If you go to Abia, it will shock you to know that the only time you see an average Abia man discard his waste is when it is raining. And so, what are those in authority trying to do to sensitize Nigerians on, look, this is what we must do, and this is what we mustn't do, so we don't get eaten by the rain? The
problem we have with the Nigerian mentality and approach to public facilities, it's not just in Abia, no more here. It happens. In fact, I was coming back one day and it was raining. I was inside a tricycle, and then one woman just came out with her buckets. And of course, it was filled with
even Sammy, the cameraman, had that. If we can get that from Abia, it will shock you. But the funny part of it, Nora, is that we as a TV station, we've been doing our bits, and it's difficult to get the chairman of ASEPA, the GM of ASEPA, to come around. We've sent several invitations to him to say, come and talk freely. Use this platform and talk to Abians. But it's quite unfortunate getting him to come around, that's what has been a problem. I remember vividly, if you go back to records when the governor used to be the assistant, the AGM of ASEPA, he never failed to attend whenever you extend your invitations to him. And the question is, what is happening to the current man?
Well, I think this has to do with personality issues. It's not just the DGM, but also here in Umuahia. In fact, there is never a time you get to the office and find the DM of ASEPA seated on his seat. It's impossible to see him. And when the crisis arose about...
Well, getting him to see it, I was sincerely, he shouldn't be seated in the first place. I agree with that. That's the problem. If you're a public servant, you must give it to the governor when the governor of the... I mean, he's always there at your beck and call to talk to the people, because the people need to know, people need to ask questions. And if the man in authority doesn't come up, am I the one to do the answering? So it's a question that we're still begging answers that Roland should please, with all due respect to him, to find time around and come to talk to Abians. It is very important. Very important.
He needs to begin to create more awareness, especially on refuse disposal habits. Because when yesterday night it rained cats and dogs here in and my experience is not what I want to share this morning, because all the drainages were blocked, the roads were blocked. I got to a point the tricycle told me, "Madam, I can't continue. You have to calm down." The rains got almost to my waist, and I was like, "Jesus, I can't believe this." And I looked at it, and this morning while I was coming out, I realized that all the drainages were blocked, if not with dirt, with sand. Now the question is, we see them back on the silting of drainages. Yeah. But what happens after the silting? Do you pack them? When it rains, you now see it goes back, and then it's filled up. They don't have anywhere to go into. So, and that's why we always have bad roads. Roads have been fixed, and before you know it, the rains are washing them up because they don't have access to where they can get into. And when they remain on, when the road is flooded, you see it begins to wear down on the granaries that are used to work. And don't forget that some of these flood water come with some chemicals from the mechanic workshop and of course from some other industries.
It is two way. It takes two to tango. The government is doing its own part. The people also need to do the part. So that, because I mean we have no other state to call ours except Abia, and of course let's give it our best. Deceased from throwing your waste, disposing your waste into the gutter or the waterways. It is very important we get that into hands. Okay, now is there anything you want to share with us?
Yeah, look at the front page of the Vanguard newspaper and talks about herdsman invasion again in Enugu State.
Well, just last week we saw the governor gave out 256 vehicles to the forest guard. And so what's happening?
Well, it was averted, bloody clash averted in the Enugu community. I think that's one of the reasons. But the question is, why do we have consistent attacks on Enugu?
Well, Enugu is close to the north.
But it's not just that. It shares about that.
That's the first point of migration. So,
but I think there's need.
But if you ask me, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi is doing so much for Enugu. Believe me, he has distinguished himself. And I think so much, somebody once said, to whom much is given, much is expected from. And so, and of course, if you also go back to the papers talking about the Daily Sun this morning, you could see him trying to unveil the 8.8 kilometer Eha Amofo Nkalago Road. Well, security is very important, and let's just hope that he will give his best to make sure that this doesn't happen.
Well, I have another one there. It's very disturbing to me, and it's coming from my state, Abia State strike. Patients lament absence of doctors in Abia Hospital.
Well, I think we've discussed on that, and the last time the Commissioner for Information was at the studio in Abia, the question was posed out to him, and of course he gave his reason. But this morning is a different one. Strike. Well, is to get the mouthpiece of the state to talk on that, and it would be nice also to extend our invitation. Whenever we do that, he has never failed to come around talking about the Commissioner for Information.
But of course, at this point, I think we need to have a Commissioner for Health who could also be able to talk to the people and let us know what's happening. And the Ministry of Health, which will also be able to visit them and find out if really there's absence of doctors. And Abia State University Teaching Hospital has actually been a state that you and I understand is nothing to be proud of as far as we're concerned. Over time, we've been able to interact with the governor to ask questions about Abia State University Teaching Hospital, and he tells us that, well, he had to give a lot of subventions to ensure that he relieves Abia ASUT from their challenges. But it does appear that each time he does that, they will ask for a change of leadership. As we speak, there's a change of leadership. Why another strike? And why are we having? Because of course, health is someone who is alive that can actually do certain things. We need to ensure that the health sector does not suffer. With all the efforts the governor is putting in place to ensure that we have a good health sector, especially primary health facilities put in place, I think this is not the kind of story we need to wake up to.
I agree with you completely, but then it will be the person in charge of talking to the public. I'm still going back to the Commissioner of Information, John O'Kay. He'll be the one to tell us more about what is happening with Abia State Teaching Hospital.
Now let's go a little bit far to the Niger Delta, and of course this is what affects all of us in Nigeria. Okowa is already shouting, I'm going to hand over to Rubo in 2023. You know, and then if he says that, just like some people are saying, I'm handing over to Abia South, I'm handing over to Abia North, you're already, you know, igniting the polity even before the elections. Is it good for us to begin to talk about this kind of things when elections are still far from now, and there are so many things to be done? We're looking up to you, and this is one of the reasons why some people find themselves even before elections comes.
Well, the truth of the matter is if you go back to record, I think it's too early for the governor. But then there might be a special reason for saying this. It is possible that the governor is having some difficulties in terms of appointments and the rest, and people believe they're being marginalized and the rest, and not being in the governor's book. And he said, look, I am going to give to you people. It's possible that they will belong.
Does he have that power?
No, well, it's going to be an election, but I mean, everybody, like what you have in Abia State, the Charter of Equity, it's possible that that exists also, to know that.
Yeah.
So it's possible that if you go back to the founders of Delta State, it's possible they have an understanding that this is the zone principle. That's what I want to believe. But of course, I mean, you and I, as soon as we get all this, we'll preview more to get more information and come back to say what the paper has quoted. But this morning, it's obvious that Okowa says he's going to hand it over to, people. So let's see how that goes. But Nora and I believe that, well, still talking about handover when everybody's talking about 100 days in office. What have you achieved? Maybe it could also be part of
I think I see light at the end of the tunnel when it has to do with the nation's economy. Having Soludo and Rani in the economic advisory team of the president shows that maybe the president means business this time around.
Well, meaning business, Nora, sometimes you and I know that the Nigerian factor could be very funny, the Nigerian syndrome. But, well, let us not criticize. Let's see how it goes. One is to get people to advise you, and second is for you at the top to take the advice and do implementations.
Well, so Soludo was one of those who made them part when he wanted.
Oh, sure, that's what I'm saying. Advising is one thing, and carrying out what the advice that was given is another thing. But let's see how it goes. Let's be very positive, and that the president will definitely listen to his advisors when it comes to economic issues.
Have you also realized, based on the headline, also on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, that we are our own problem? NBDC is saying they mobilized 1,723 contractors with the sum of 70 billion naira, and none of them went to site.
Yeah, it's obvious. We see a lot of things here happening right here, even down to the state here. We see a lot. Once you give out contracts, you should be able to go supervise. Supervision is very important. It's a very important factor, and of course a lot of people are taking advantage of that. Like yesterday, coming down to Umwari, the question that kept running through my mind is, despite the fact that the federal government had given contractors to run the Enugu down to Port Harcourt Road, the question is, can they find a way to alleviate the bad potholes at Osisioma? It has nothing to do with the state government. It has to do with the federal government. And can't you instruct the contractors to go there and do what is right? That's what we're asking. It seems you have a color.
Oh, it's a flasher. You know, but then it worries me because the same people who sit in their comfort zones and criticize government are the same people who collect this money and go back home and enjoy this money without doing the needful. Imagine that kind of money, 70 billion naira given to people to just go and do that to the villages.
Yeah, because it's funny. That's what I'm saying. When you don't have people supervise, supervision is key. If they're being supervised, no man will be given a contract without him going on site to accomplish what he was given to do. So the truth of the matter still lies that because they know that nobody comes to supervise, or the man also that is placed to supervise gets something.
Is the money? Is the money is not enough?
And I'll tell you something very funny. There is very close to Abia North, at the end part of Abia North, where you have one of the roads there done by NDCDC. Nora, believe me, if you go there and you see the portals emerging, that road is barely a month. And don't we have the right now to complain to NDDC to say, this road is a cheap one? And that's the problem with Nigerians. Nobody reacts, nobody talks. And it hurts me when people come up to say they're human rights activists. And I'm asking, we know some human rights activists like the late Ganefari that will come up and talk to the public. And so everybody here is a human rights activist in Abia State. But the question is, what have they fought? What have they brought to the people to say, look, we did this, and out of this, we got this for you. NDDC, substandard road, right there, Abia North, at the action of Abia North, to the right hand side. You could see, the road is barely 1 month, and you could see potholes. It's not and you know the funny part of it, where you have the billboard, it is written there, good road. Take good road, take NDDC. And I said, what a way to insult. There are a lot of roads like that. What a way to insult the people.
NDDC, I don't know, but I'm thinking that NDDC is supposed to be used to last. But then it begins to say that the
it still goes back. No, I tell you something. It still goes back to supervision. And the people has a role to play. The people has a role to play. Are you telling me there are no elites on that road? They are. What stops them from writing to NDDC?
Have you considered the Nigerian factor? And the Nigerian factor
I don't believe there's a Nigerian factor.
Yeah, the truth of matter is...
I disagree with you completely.
There's a Nigerian factor to everything.
What's the Nigerian factor?
There's a Nigerian factor to everything, and that is the mentality that Nigerians have. For instance, let me give you an instance. On election day, you tell a Nigerian to come and cast his ballot. He tells you, why should I? After all, the election is already as good as over. We know the winner of the election.
It's still a Nigerian factor. It's a personal.
How many persons do you see cast their ballot?
Well, that's where we.
Because that's the mentality they portray. And now you write a letter. Somebody write a letter to NDDC, and NDDC say it calls for a press briefing and say, "We'll address this."
Then you can have people.
And now nobody addresses it.
I'll tell you what the people can do. The people of that area, of that street, could put their hands and sue NDDC to court. Or sue the contractor to court.
And then at the end of the day, what happens?
Justice.
The Nigerian judiciary.
I tell you, yes, sure, definitely. You see, the problem is that we don't fight to the end. We don't fight to the end, Nora. The policeman stops you. Thank God the PPRO is going to come in here and talk about security in Abia State. A policeman stops you on the road, and you know you have the right paper, you have the driving license, you have all it takes to drive on that road, and he says, oh, there's something wrong with this, park, and you park. The next thing, you're offering money so you can get off the hook when you know you're right. Why not say, okay, let's go to the police station?
So how would you describe that?
That's what I'm saying. It is.
Is that not the Nigerian mentality?
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody wants to achieve.
Nora, we need to change the orientation. We need to change
that. Finally, you've come back to the fact that
I don't want to. I agree completely. Yes, but I don't want us to come with the word, the Nigerian factor. I really don't want to come with that, because when you say Nigeria, it includes everybody, those that also knows the right, then says, look, I'm not going to drive on the road and be stopped by a policeman, and I know that I have the right driving gears and everything that I'm doing proper. I'm right on it, and you're telling me I need to pass some money to you. That's not possible. So what I'm saying is, we need to change our orientation. It is very important we change our orientation.
The changing of orientation begins with our leaders. Yeah, it begins with you and I. But if only you and I get on the streets and the police, of course, I don't even have time. Once the police officer stops me, I get irritated, because sometimes the way they go about it, there is what is called decency. In developed clients, of course, you've traveled a ride and you know what it means. A police officer stops you with a smile. Hello, good afternoon.
Why should we stop you with a smile?
Of course, because let's face reality. You're doing your job. Even when you want to lock up a person, you're smiling at that person. And then when they want to support you, and they're taking you and they're smiling because they know you're going. You even wonder why this man is smiling and trying to support you.
When you say stop with a smile. Just try and imagine a man that needs.
Am I frustrated?
Frustrated. A man that knows that, look, there's some certain stuff that I need to get to work with, and I don't have those stuff, and you're asking him to smile. He gets angry. And the worst thing you can ever do is to speak English. So, okay, you want to show me so you go to school. Back! So you need to come back.
When you brought out this, I remember at the point, even the inspector of police had to tell us, please stop speaking English to Nigerian police officer. And I was like, wow. So does it mean everybody must speak pidgin? Because I think the sound of English
irritates. Well, I think the Nigerian police is doing so well, believe me. If nothing more, getting the most wanted kingpin. What's that name again? Wadume shows that the Nigerian police can actually get anybody if given the right environment to work. Okay, Nora, Buhari, of course, we're taking that. Ruga Igbo community protest illegal settlements.
Well, we know some of those things are not real. I remember when an Abia community also protested that they understand that there is a rural settlement somewhere around the Sisioma until the traditional ruler there had to come out to say there is nothing like a rural settlement anywhere. You know, once there is this influx of houses or Fulani headsmen, as the case may be, there's this fear that groups the people, and so they take to the streets to say, please, before you arrive, we don't want to have you around. I think that's one of the things they are doing, because there is no rural settlement, as we understand. In the southeast, the governor says we don't have any land and we can't give out the ones we don't have, we need food. And so I think these people are just protesting to create an impression that they don't want, even if there are plans by a government to do that, they don't want something like that to happen around them. Well, before we call off this particular segment, Adekunle Gold is actually crying out this morning. He says, I don't get enough credit for my work. You're in the entertainment industry. How do you see that?
Well, I know that all the past and the present artists have decided to ask for what is called like something they get back. I'm trying to figure out the name, but it just skipped my mind completely. And of course, the radio stations and TV stations have been asked to pay a certain amount of money, which we do, because we belong to an organization called ACON, where a certain amount of money is paid back, because really these are people's work, and so they must get credit for it. And I'm sure that he has a right. I mean, Nora, if you give him your best, and a lot of people know that Nigeria is one funny place. We just believe that we can take things from the internet, and of course, if you must do that, you must pay. You must find a way to pay back. You can't take people's intellectual property and not give back to it. Yeah.
Well, that's very true. That's very, very true. It's called piracy. You don't have to do that. You need to do the right thing. But Adekunle Gold is one person. I admire his creativity, what it has to do with the music industry in Nigeria. Well, I think this is as much as we can take from the newspaper review that morning. So many things to talk about, so many issues, so many matters arising. All you need to do is to pick more of the dailies out there and get to know what's happening. But some of the headlines you see here, you may not find in other dailies. Read yourself to relevance.